Good evening, Source Nation, and welcome to Healthy Cooking with me, Chef Keith. This is a show where I will show you how to prepare healthy meals, but before I go any further, let me thank our sponsors who have made this show possible, and they are Scott's Care Foundation, that's Scott's Cares with an S Foundation, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Urban Grandstand Digital, Cat Photography, Hits Masters, New Covenant of Praise Worship Center, and PS Photography. And for today's tasty dish, we're going to make a pan-seared salmon with avocado toast. We're going to use some yellow squash here, yellow squash chips, in order to make a delicious meal. And we're going to top that toast off with some nice juicy beef steak tomatoes. Now first of all, before we get started, I want to just make a nice little palette here on my cutting board. And this is cornstarch, and of course those of you who know Source Nation, who've been watching me through the last couple weeks, you know that in order to get your skin crispy on your salmon, it's good to use cornstarch, and that will make it nice and crispy when you cook it. So I'm just going to lay it down just like that. I'm going to take this avocado. All you got to do is cut around the center here, and then you can just pull the seed straight out the middle, nice and easy. And then all you need is a spoon. You're just going to take that spoon around in a circular motion around the edges, around the skin. And if you do it properly, nice and gently, you'll find that there we go. We're going to take the avocado and it just falls right out of the skin. Nice and easy. I'm going to do the same thing to the second half here. Just take the spoon and just move it around in a circular motion just to kind of scoop it out here. And there you go. Easy. No harm, no foul. Now all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take those avocado pieces here. Alright. Just going to cut them. Move that seed out the way. And I'm just going to cut them in nice little dice. It doesn't have to be fine because we're basically just going to mix the avocado down. Now in some ways this is sort of like making a guacamole. We're going to leave out a few ingredients, but we're going to make it nice and spreadable. This is a nice alternative because my sister asked me about some alternatives to using butter on toast, and making this avocado spread is a nice alternative to that. So what I have here is an onion. Just going to chop the onion up here, and I'm going to make this nice and fine, small chunks here. I'm not going to dice it because I'm going to actually try to mince it down into very small pieces. We're not going to cook most of these vegetables today. We're going to keep them in their natural state, in their natural form. And here you see, I just chopped it all up here. And this is actually a meal for one. For those of you who want a nice lunch, this is actually a good meal for a lunch, a brunch. This could even be dinner for you. It's nice and healthy and easy to make. And as you can see, I'm just going to move my knife around here. Keep a good chop here. Move everything back to the center. And just going to take my knife right across the onions. Just a few more times to get nice small pieces. Chop. And once I get everything to the right consistency I want here, just going to dump it right down in my bowl with my avocado as well. Just scoop the last little pieces up. See? Easy. It's a good start. For those of you who are listening, don't forget you can check Source Radio Network, Healthy Cooking with me, Chef Keith. If you can watch the video in its entirety to see exactly what I'm doing. Or you can look at Keith in the Streets on Facebook, both pages on Facebook. And you might be able to find me on YouTube. Who knows? My son said a few of his classmates seen a few of my cooking videos. I said I didn't believe him, but who knows? Maybe it's the truth. So now I'm just going to take a few olives, Kalamata, and I'm just going to, they're actually pitted already. And I'm just going to chop them down the same way I did. I have 4 olives here. And I'm going to chop them up the same way that I did with the onion. Nice little small pieces. I thought that the olives would be a great addition to this dish. You don't have to add the olives. You can use a host of other things if you don't like olives. And actually, you can play around with these recipes and find different flavors that you particularly like. I know some people use pineapple. Some people like to use the tomato pieces in this as well, because like I said, we're not going to cook it. We're just going to mix it all together. But I wanted to use olives. Just a little something different. Give you a little saltiness there with the subtle flavor of the avocado. Alright, see? Nice and easy. Alright, right here I'm going to take some minced garlic. I'm going to put that right down in the bowl here. And maybe a spoonful. About 2 cloves of garlic. And right now I'm going to sprinkle some sea salt. Here, season to taste. Remember, you can always add to and never take away, so you don't have to over season right now. You don't have to go overboard with it. And I'm also going to put some nice ground pepper in there as well. Right here I have a lime, which is a nice touch. As you can see, we're going with that same salsa theme. And I'm just going to take, remember, you want to hold your lime up with the skin side facing where you want to pour the juices, okay? Because you remember, you just don't want the seeds to be in your mixture. So I'm just going to turn it upside down, squeeze the lime in there, and I am going to proceed to mash everything together. You just want to get most of the major pieces of avocado nice and mashed down in here. Mix everything together there. Nice little spoon. Take the back part of the spoon and just mash and stir. Mash and stir. There you go. Nice little technique. Nice little way to be easy here. And don't forget, you can also watch these videos if you want to see what I'm doing live. You can watch it on Healthy Cooking with me, Chef Keith, on the Radio Source Network, Healthy Cooking with Chef Keith, or you can watch it on Keith in the Streets. And if you Google around a bit, you might even find it on YouTube. Who knows? Might surprise you. Alright. Now I'm not going to over mix here. I'm just mashing most of it together because I want to add a little something a little bit later to it. So I'm just going to sit everything down just like that. Alright. Looks fantastic. Because we want it to be spreadable. Don't forget that. You can go with chunks though. It all depends on what you're into. So now, before I get everything going, I'm trying to get as much preparation as I can ready. And I have one squash. Squash is inexpensive and very delicious. I'm a big fan of squash. My aunt gave me squash for the first time, I believe I was in the 5th grade. She had her own garden in the backyard, and she would really take care of that garden. She would grow squash and okra and different things in there. And so when she gave me squash for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, you know, because as a child, you thinking, I don't think I really like squash. But you got to kind of offer as many alternatives to your kids as you can. That way they'll know what they like and what they don't like. And taste change over time. So something that they found that wasn't all that great, when they taste a little bit older, they say, oh yeah, I remember this. So just like me, but actually I did like squash the very first time. There we go. I'm just going to make nice little thin pieces of squash here. Nice little chop. And I'm actually going to get my olive oil out just to get everything ready. And it's all about the preparation at this point. Just a little olive oil. It's not going to take much. And I'm just going to toss it in my bowl. Just get everything nice and covered with olive oil, because I'm not going to use any oil. I'll use a little bit of butter later on. But there you go. Nice and simple. Right in the bowl. Now I'll continue my preparation with a nice beefsteak tomato. I got this for $1 as well. And the squash, I actually got 2 pieces of squash for $1. This beefsteak tomato was $1 as well. I'm going to make nice solid cuts of the tomato. Save the rest for later. Just going to cut the middle out there. See, nice and easy. And it makes a nice little display as well. Remember, you're eating with your eyes. Actually with your nose first, then your eyes, and then you actually taste it. So you want everything to be nice and tasty. Now back over to our salmon station. I prefer the wild salmon if you can get it. Farm-raised salmon is okay, but I did a little research and I found that the farm-raised salmon is, the wild-caught salmon is actually the best for you. I'm going to use some sea salt, some cumin, and a little pepper. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Nice and simple for our salmon. Alright. And it's ready to go. I've got my cast iron, my trusty cast iron skillet, nice and heated up. It's actually a little under medium heat because I don't want to cook it too fast. Just a little dab of butter in here. See, it was nice and heated up already. Let's just move that butter around. Get the bottom of the pan nice and coated. Love my cast iron skillet. There we go. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of olive oil in here. And of course, you know, we're using our olive oil so our butter does not burn. Okay, so it looks like everything's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and grab my salmon here. And when I bring my salmon over here to the pan, I'm actually going to put the skin side down first. Remember, we're looking for that crispy skin on the bottom. Now, you can actually season your salmon whichever way will make you happy. But I just want to keep it simple. So for those of you that want to use a little bit extra, maybe some paprika, all that's fine. It's just about your taste. So salt, pepper, cumin for this one. Sometimes I use paprika. Sometimes you can use a little onion powder. Sometimes you can use a little garlic powder. But I'm just going to keep it simple here. Get a nice little sear. Listen to that go. And all your salmon is going to take is maybe 3 minutes per side. I know a lot of people don't like their salmon well done, but you want to make sure that you don't dry it out. I like my salmon a little bit medium to medium well. So I'll just do about 3 minutes per side. And so I'm going to just let that go. I'm going to move back over to my preparation station. And over here you can see I've had my avocados, my olives, and my lime and onions sitting for a bit. I'm going to drop some crushed red peppers. This is actually optional. I don't know if anybody doesn't like the crushed red peppers, but I think they give it a nice little something something. So I'm just going to sprinkle there about a tablespoon in here as well. And then from there I'm going to add a little lemon juice. So we got lemon, lime, salt, pepper, avocado, olives, onions, all in this happy little mixture here. So I'm going to give it a good mix here, because remember, it's all really mashed up. So mixing at this point is nice and easy. Just going to make sure that all those crushed red pepper flakes are incorporated in our mixture. See, because we did all the work earlier, Source Nation, so there's not much you have to do for it right now. And it's good to go. So I'm going to go back over to my stove. I have a second pan waiting to go. And I actually decided to use sourdough bread. You can use whatever type of toast you want to make. Now, you can use your toaster if you choose. You don't have to make it this way. You can make it in the oven. You can use baguettes. You can use wheat bread. Whatever bread it is that you prefer, oat. You can use it all. But for this particular dish, what I'm going to do is just add a little butter to the pan. Now, I'm not going to add any oil to it. And this is unsalted butter. I always use the unsalted. Just going to let that cook down for a bit. And I like sourdough. It might be my favorite type of bread. Pumpernickel would be good too. And since you made enough, this is actually enough. You can actually store this in your refrigerator, use it in a couple of days, so you can keep going back to it, which is a nice little something. You want to make sure that you can get the most out of your dollar, the more bang for your buck, so you can prepare things that you can use more than once, because you definitely don't want any waste. That's not a good thing, and that's totally against what Healthy Cooking with Chef Keith does, is to waste money. We want to make sure that we use every bit and stretch out our dollar as much as we possibly can. Now I'm just going to lay my sourdough bread down in the pan. It's on a little under medium as well, and as you can see, we're going to switch over to our salmon, which has been on for about 3 minutes. And I'm just going to turn the salmon over. See, nice and crispy, just like I told you. Now some people, they don't mind the soft salmon skin. I just think it's a nice touch, you know, when you can get all that skin and crispy and just add all the flavors to it. So we're just going to sear the other side. We're going to do about 3 to 4 minutes on that side as well. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Now, I know a lot of people get intimidated by cooking salmon a lot of times, because a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people undercook it. I think they overcook it. And you can always play it safe. 3 to 4 minutes. Now, you can get your cuts a little bit thick, but 3 to 4 minutes is usually enough when you have the right type of heat added to it. There are so many ways to make salmon. To me, it's just my opinion, but I like to eat salmon more than any other seafood. I just think that it's nice and hearty. For those of you who don't eat a lot of beef or pork, it kind of gives you what you need, your omega-3 fatty acids and things like that. So you want to make sure that you choose your fish wisely. Doesn't really have any fat to it. Nice pink color. Beautiful fish to eat. And eventually, I'll show you how to prepare a whole salmon. We got all kind of glazes and things that we can do, Source Nation. So maybe, I don't know, I can win some of you over with this salmon. Who knows? So I'm just gonna let that cook. Nice and beautiful. And it's easy to do. Now up until this point, you can see that it is really not difficult. None of this is difficult. And like I told you guys before, make sure that if you want to see the video, see, look, we're going to turn it over. Look at that. Look at the color on that. Beautiful. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and take it out now, because that's the color I was looking for. On the other side. Nice. We're not going to turn off the pan just yet. And remember, we're just on medium. A little under medium. Just going to add a little bit more butter to the pan so I can start to cook my squash. And I'm just going to drop my squash down in here. Remember, we added olive oil to the squash earlier, so we don't have to add any oil. And these are thinly sliced, so we don't have to worry about cooking it for too long. This is going to take about 2 to 3 minutes. Don't worry about undercooking it so much. You just don't want to overcook it. At this point, if you wanted to, you can add onions to your squash if you want. But me, I'm just going to keep it in the butter. I'm just going to keep it in the seasoning. Everything that was with the salmon. So I'm going to go over here and check my toast out. Flip it over and see how we're looking. Beautiful. Look, just nice little crispy edges around my sourdough bread. Everything down there. See? Nice and perfect. And that's all I'm really looking for. I wasn't really trying to toast both sides. I just wanted to get one side crispy, the side that was actually going to have the avocado spread on it. So we're good. So back over here to our squash chips. Just wait for them to get soft. You see there's a nice little color being added here. Picking up all the little tasty bits that were with our salmon. Yeah, nice and beautiful. Easy, easy, easy to do. I hope all of you that are listening, Source family, that you'll give this dish a try. Even if you aren't fans of squash or olives, remember, these are just some templates that you can use to prepare your own meals. Alright, we got a nice little sear going on here on the squash, and it's ready to go. I'm going to move over to our plate. As you can see, I'm going to take that avocado spread that we created, and I'm just going to see how easy it spreads. Just going to spread it evenly all over the toast, and I'm telling you, Source Nation, this is an excellent breakfast to make. If you're in that rush in the morning, you made your avocado spread early, this will make a beautiful sandwich. Even if you want to do it vegetarian style, you can get 2 pieces of toast, put the spread in there, add the tomatoes, or whatever if you want to make it. And those of you who want to eat turkey, you can add turkey bacon at this point, and you can make yourself a nice sandwich and beautiful breakfast in the morning. Just perfect. I know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I want to make sure I get every single bite. Have a nice little amount of spread. You can see the chopped olives in there. There's the onions in there. We've got the garlic. We've got the lemon juice. We've got the lime. Everything is in there. And to make this dish absolutely fantastic, we're just going to take a few of those beefsteak tomatoes. Just gonna bring them over here. And because we pre-cut everything, I'm just gonna lay them right down over the bread. And I'm telling you, this is tasty. You're gonna love this dish. Even if you don't like avocados, I say give it a try. You want to give this thing the nice little effort and try, like you tell your kids to do. Give it a nice little try. And like I said, it's beautiful and perfect. And that was easy and tasty. Just cut yourself a slice, a piece, and you got yourself a very, 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 very tasty meal. So there you have it, another simple meal. Now, wasn't that easy? And once you finish it up, you'll find out just how tasty it will be. But before we go, I just want to thank our sponsors who make this show possible. And that's Scott Cares Foundation, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Cat Photography, Urban Grandstand Digital, Hits Masters, New Covenant of Praise Worship Center, and PS Photography. So tune in next week with the Source Radio Network with me, Chef Keith, as I'll show you how to make tasty and very affordable gourmet style meals in your very own kitchen. Easy, affordable, gourmet style cooking is as close to you as you are to your kitchen. I'll see you next week.